If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what's a trait in honesty that you should have when you're working with a coach or a mentor? This is a super important question. I'm Scott Supplemental. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and business and a perfect day to talk about you for HVAC technician sales secrets. We're on video number 5, and so here's the thing. There's going to be a point in time where you're like, I want somebody to work with me and I'm going to pay them money to make me better at what I do. So what's something that's super important? They call you out. They tell you, here's what you're doing right, here's what you're doing wrong, but they do it in a respectful manner. When I look at some of the films of coaches and people who work with top athletes, like some of the best coaches just tell them, hey, here's what I need from you. Some of them yell. I'm a grown man. I don't want somebody to yell at me. You're a grown person. Sometimes you're like, hey, I don't care. I don't mind. I don't want somebody to yell at me. But if I do screw up, I want them to tell you, hey, Scott, you screwed up. Now, Kevin Hogan, good friend of mine, been a mentor of mine for a long time. There's a couple times in my life where he's like, Scott, you screwed up on this. I didn't need him to yell at me, right? There's times where Roland Frazier has told me, Scott, you kind of screwed up on this. I didn't need him to yell at me. Jay Abraham, same thing. And the reason why I bring this up, and it's super important, the best coaches and the best mentors are going to foster a learning environment. And there's times where they do have to have the tough conversations with you and go, dude, what is going on with you? Chick, what is going on with you? Person, what is going on with you? This isn't what we talked about. This isn't the game plan. This isn't what we discussed. We said over here, you're all the way over here. And those types of conversations are what you need to adjust, right? Those are the things that they really do need to say to you so that you get better at what you do. That's what you're hiring for. That's what you want them in your life for, is so that you can move faster. Moving faster and getting rocket fuel is when somebody tells you how to avoid a problem or a mistake or how to do something better. And there's times where salespeople will call me and they'll say, hey, Scott, I'm thinking about doing it this way. And I'll say, hey, here's your 4 pitfalls. Just I want to make you aware. If you do this, here's your 4 pitfalls. Here's what's going to happen. And it's funny because like sometimes I'll get the phone call back and they're like, Scott, you're going to be mad at me. Like, why? Because I did it the complete opposite way that you told me. I'm like, I'm not mad at you. We're just going to have to take more time now. It's just going to envelop more work on your part. And this right here is why you should join my email notification. I will give you the goods. Not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, or discounted training. So the idea of having a coach or a mentor is for you to move faster and avoid obstacles. And I really want you to think about that because that's super important, right? If you could move faster and you could remove obstacles, how much more money would you make, right? So if you can make an extra 100 grand a year, is it worth 50 grand for you? Is it worth 30 grand for you? Is it worth 20 grand for you? You would have never made that money anyway. Mac Ray Ross used to hang out with Jay Abraham before he passed, and he would ask this question. If I found you $1 in your business you would have never found without me, would you mind if I keep a quarter? And so like some people will get greedy, like, I don't want to give you a quarter, but I'll give you a dime. I don't want to give you a quarter, but I'll give you a nickel. And you're like, hey, I got to remind you, you would have never found that money. You would have had a tough time. You would have struggled. It would have never come to you easily. I'm shortcutting the process for you by teaching you my mistakes, right? There's no true shortcut that's like, it's a cheat code except for I've made these mistakes before and I'm going to show you how to not go through those pitfalls. That's the magic sauce. That's the cheat code. That is the work and the effort that somebody else has done. Like people will call me and say, hey, Scott, I'm thinking about using this word track. I'm like, okay, we could do that. Have you thought about what the result is going to be? No, it just sounds really cool. I'm like, okay, role play with me. And they'll role play with me. I'm like, that's way too aggressive. Or they'll role play with me. I'm like, that's fantastic. You're on the right path. A good coach and a good mentor is going to tell you when you're on the right path, when you're on the wrong one, and you can't ignore them. You don't have to listen to them. Their job, their role, their responsibility is a bit, warning, if you do that, here's the 4 things, 5 things, 6 things that could happen. Or, hey, I really like that. You should run with it. When you hit this mile marker, get back to me and tell me how you've done. There you go. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button. Click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.